Yo, what's going on out there, everybody? It's your boy Willie Epting Jr. checking in, man. This is a this is a bit of a weird day. I don't even know why I'm here. Well, let me put it this way: I do know why I'm here. I have a lot to say, and I want to be respectful um, of everybody. Just because you guys that have known me for a while know what I'm about when it comes to equality and all those certain things, types of things. So this is really an impromptu type of show where it's going to get a little sticky, and it may even have some humor in it. It may even jerk some tears, but hopefully, what it will do is inform and educate and make us see different sides of a coin, if you will. I have tabbed this show as the morning after, or after the morning after, rather. As we know, Donald Trump was inaugurated yesterday as the 47th president of these here United States of America. Congratulations to him on that. The will of the people has spoken. The will of the people has ruled the land. And now here we are. Whether you're a supporter of Donald Trump or not, whether you are a political aficionado or just a novice, we all have something that is going to be affected from this particular election. And I, for one, I'm a little sad because this has the makings of not only dividing the country even further, but dividing families and ending friendships and all those types of things. And I'm going to get into that here in just a few minutes because I think it's critically important that no matter what side of the aisle you're on, we all can learn something from what's about to be said and heard, for that matter. Um, so let's just sit back and relax, and I welcome your comments into the session. Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, and of course Instagram TV. I see you guys out there. Feel free, and if you really want to come on and be a guest, I will send you the link, and you can actually become a part of the show live with me, as opposed to or either or. You can either make comments, or you can say, "Hey, Willie, I want to come on," and I'll send you the link, and you can join me. It's just that simple. I do want to be respectful. There's a lot of things that I'm going to say that are probably going to rub some folks the wrong way, and that's fine. But I'm going to still respect you for it. I'm still going to love you for it. It doesn't matter to me who you voted. Well, let me put it this way: it does matter who you voted for, because that's the reason why we're here. But what doesn't matter is the feelings and the emotions that get attached to such separation and division as we are currently noticing. So let me go ahead and just get right into it here in just a minute. I got some things that I need to do behind the scenes real quick. So with that being said, let's go get it.
Right about now, you're about to be possessed by the sounds.
Yeah, I know what it is. You little suckers get to talking, grabbing out walking, strapped to the pong, getting tossed and smacking, they sleep with the coffins. And they getting greedy like saying, give me all.
Yes, thank you for joining us. 47th president Donald Trump. This is January the 21st, his first full day in office, and he has already signed a myriad of executive orders. There's a couple that I actually agree with, and then there's a lot that have me thinking or looking like this. Declaring that there are only two genders in America. Well, yeah, we know that to be true, and it's because whoever your particular representative in Congress is, it's because that is what God said in the beginning. He said, "Let us make man and woman. So that is the reason why we know those things to be true in terms of it being a two gender race, if you will, for lack of a better word. That we know that to be true. But and I don't want to get too much into the political talk of it, because I am really here to first of all give some of my opinions and my thoughts, and yes, and my feelings as well. And I do welcome any sort of transparency. I do welcome any kind of thought-provoking conversation. I do welcome anybody that may have a different outlook on it than I do, and we can come together and see what can be done. What I'm not going to tolerate is bigotry. I'm not going to tolerate prejudiceness. I'm not going to tolerate remarks or comments that are disparaging to one group of people while maybe quote unquote uplifting another group. I'm not allowing any of that. I'm not allowing disrespect on my show, on any of my shows. And let me just tell you guys this. Yeah, I have 2 shows on the Big Game Christian Sports Network. This is true. But this episode right here has nothing to do with the BGC Sports Network. This is all Shake Bag Media Group. So let me put that disclaimer out there right now, protecting the network, in case somebody wants to say Willie did this or Willie did that. And it won't even matter, because I'm not going to say anything that's deemed inappropriate, or at least I don't think it will be. And if it is inappropriate, again, let me know how you feel about it. We can discuss it. But so Donald Trump was inaugurated on Monday, on Martin Luther King's birthday day celebration holiday, which I thought was ironic, because we know what Martin Luther King stood for in terms of equality. And a lot of people have an idea or an opinion that Donald Trump is the opposite of that people in his cabinet are the opposite of that people in his orbit are the opposite of just that. I didn't say everybody. I said there's people out there. And if you happen to be one of those people, okay, cool. If you're not, okay, cool. But that ain't, again, it's just, it's a formidable opinion shared by many people out there, right? So as a man, as a black man in America, as a father, as a husband, as a Christian, as a business owner, and as an employee, there are a lot of things that are in Project 2025 that has been renamed to, I think, the agenda or whatever it is. There's a lot of things that in that mandate that affect me and my community of people that look like me. And most notably for me is I should say most notably, because they're all notable, but the one that really sticks out in my mind right now is the abolition or the abolishment of the public education system, Department of Education, that he wants to do away with. Not everybody out there has had the privilege or the ability or the wherewithal to go to a private school. Not many people that I have grown up with, whether it be in California or whether it be in Louisiana. I don't know that many people. I don't recall rather that many people that looked like me whose parents could afford to send them to a private institution, whether it's elementary, middle school, or high school. So to say that is going to be done away with affects me, because my wife is a school teacher in the Garland Independent School District. That means it's a public school district. My daughter is a teacher in the Independent School District of Garland. Again, that is a public school district. I graduated from a public high school. Many of the people that I have been interacting with on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram or wherever else graduated from a public institution of secondary learning. My parents went to a public school that was actually segregated. So I don't understand the uproar as to why the Department of Education needs to be thrown away. I don't think it'll ever happen. I'm gonna tell you why I don't think it'll ever happen. Number one, there's way more people in this country that are going to public schools than the private schools. We know that. Number two, public schools are the foundation of one of the biggest businesses in America, and that is high school football. High school football, particularly here in Texas, particularly in California and Florida, particularly in Louisiana. That's why I don't think that the Department of Education will never go anywhere. It's too much money being made. Now, if he pulls the funding, which he has said that he's going to do, then we'll see. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some fights tooth and nail behind the scenes that all of us, or many of us rather, won't be privy to being able to witness. But it doesn't erase the fact that that is the intent of this new administration. And then number two, as a Christian and knowing other Christians out there, my question to you guys is this. I'm not talking to any other practicing faith, people of faith other than Christianity, because this is what this is founded upon. I'm going to explain here in just a second. My question to you is, if you are a Christian and you believe in the Bible and you believe that Jesus is the Son of God and that he came to earth in human skin and he died and was raised on the third day with all power in his hands, you're the ones that I'm talking to. Because one of the founding principles of Christianity is faith and love and hope. And the greatest of these is what? Love. So if Donald Trump is the Christian that y'all claim him to be, why does he lie so much? I mean, like blatant lies. I don't mean like lies to like that would be for the benefit of a better agenda. I mean, like just lies for no reason. Why does he lie so much? Another question. If he is really a Christian, then why has he cheated on every wife that he's had? If he's a Christian, why won't he help take care of the poor instead of denigrating the poor and shutting the door on them? And I don't mean the illegal immigrants that are here that are causing havoc and being involved in criminal activity and all those things. I'm not talking about that group of people. But when you talk about a mass roundup for deportation, you're going to get a lot of those people in that group because A, they were born here and their parents may not be from here. Their parents may not be actual documented citizens. So I'm talking to the people that are quote unquote dreamers or that are protected by the 14th Amendment. Why is it that this administration is so ready to get rid of the very people that came here for help? A lot of people are starving. A lot of people are hungry. A lot of people don't have any clothes. But see, that's the thing. And I'm not asking you this from my own mind or from my own I guess for the lack of a better word, education. This is what the Bible says. The Bible says, love thy neighbor as though you love yourself. And here's a question. Does the Bible say? Does the Bible dictate? Does the Bible put a characteristic on who our neighbor is? I don't think it does. I don't think it says love thy neighbor, but only if they're supporters of mine. Love thy neighbor only if you can bring something to help me out. No, it doesn't say any of those things. So why is it that we have this affinity for this individual who is doing the exact opposite of what he says he is? Here's another question. Why didn't he put his hand on the Bible? And before y'all, because I've had some comments, well, he did put it on there. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Melania stood there and held the Bible, and he did not put his hand on it. Why did he not do that? Why did he not, when he was asked about his favorite scripture, why did he not tell all what it is? Because the book that we read as Christians says, if you are ashamed of me before men, I will be ashamed of you before my Father. That was Donald Trump's opportunity to say, yes, Lord Jesus is my savior, but he declined. Another question. Why is it that Donald Trump has said, I have never felt the need to ask for forgiveness? Bro, that is a founding principle of Christianity. That means you don't have any sin. And he who has no sin in him is the truth. In truth is a liar. Here we are. Why? These are questions I want to know the answer to. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm not talking about his policies. I'm talking about his character, which going to ultimately speak to our character. So those are questions that I have. And I've had people, I've had people to come at me and say things like, well, he did put his hand on the Bible, you just didn't see it. Or he is a godly man sent by Jesus because this country is so corrupt and this, that, and the other. Number one, the United States was corrupt long before Donald Trump ever got into the presidency the first time. And it has been corrupt after he was in the presidency for the first time. What makes us think that things are going to change? And he has placed himself, and I need you guys to think of this from the spirit realm. Donald Trump has basically said that I and I alone can make America great again. Well, I thought that Jesus was the most authoritative figure of our Christianity faith and our walk with the Lord. So my question again is, how is he going to do that when he's not the savior? He's not the powerful one. He's not the almighty one. He's not omniscient. He's not omnipresent. He's not everywhere at the same time. How's he going to do that? The only way that can be done is through prayer. And it has been established that Donald Trump does not have a prayer life. So how is it going to happen? By force? By bullying people? By making things so uncomfortable to where people are getting in their cars and driving to Canada to move there? That's not how it's supposed to be done. That's not loving thy neighbor. That's not any of those things. So he campaigned on the promise of mass deportations. Okay, good luck. Good luck. Because if you really want to think of it all, if you really want to think of it from a real standpoint, we all should be mass deported. Because none of us were here when America was founded. None of us. We were brought here as slaves, my ancestors, and some of your ancestors too. Or you migrated to get away from a tyranny. So, but there were people already here. Indigenous people were already here. So how can you discover something that ain't never been lost? How can you discover a land that is already occupied? And these are the lies that have been told. And now the mandate is in place to not teach the truth by twisting the narrative by saying, oh, critical race theory, it teaches our kids how to hate our country. No, it doesn't. It does not. Let me ask you guys another question. I'm filled with questions today. Filled with questions today. If it was the truth, if it were events that actually have taken place, if it is events that we know have to have happened, and we studied them and was tested on it in schools, what's the difference between now and then? What about any of those things that are true, factual and events that actually occurred, what is theoretical about any of that? How can you call something that's a truth or fact a theory? You can't. By definition, a fact or a truth can't be a theory. It's not an hypothesis. This is not an experiment. We're not studying the dates of what happened up into and after the Civil War as like a science fair project. We're not doing that. So why? Nobody is teaching kids. My wife is a teacher. My daughter is a teacher. My wife has been a teacher for over 30 years. Never did she ever teach anybody to hate the country. But why are they doing that? I think I have the answer. Because some people can be very uncomfortable when the truth slaps them in the face. And it's not the fact that you guys are scared of kids hating the country. You're afraid of the results of what could happen by explaining what happened. That's what you're afraid of. But if you're a good parent, you will tell your kids the truth. If you're a good teacher, you will tell your kids the truth. You will teach the truth. If you are a good uncle, aunt, cousin, business leader, faith leader, politician, you will tell everybody the truth. And I'm not saying that Donald Trump is the only one that's lying about it. I'm not saying that at all. There's a lot of people in his orbit. There's a lot of other people that don't even like Republicans that have said that. It's the truth. It's the truth. Oh, and another question. Since diversity, equity, and inclusion is being ripped away, what part of that is love thy neighbor? What part of that is equal opportunity? This is what people fail to understand, is that programs like that were enacted to give people that made the law, that a rule, a chance to be competed against. What's wrong with competition? Competition is one of the things that founded America. Capitalism. I make more money than you. I had more sales than you. I had less dollars than you. I lost less money than you did. Competition. But it's okay. So again, Christians, why is that so bad? Why is it that that it seems to be a threat? And before it was, well, you guys were just playing the race card. No, y'all played the race card. We had to play alone. That's why the Civil Rights Act, which benefited women and indigenous people, had to be created. And it was not that long ago. 61 years ago is when the civil rights or equal rights laws and bills were passed. That's not that long ago, ladies and gentlemen. So basically, under 100 years ago, we didn't even have the right to vote. We couldn't even vote. We couldn't go to the same schools as our white brothers and sisters did. That's why HBCUs were created, because we wanted to learn stuff too. We want to learn stuff and be a part of a country that has seen the successes that it's had, and we want credit for it. There's nothing wrong with that. Nobody is trying to take anybody else's rights. Nobody is trying to take anybody else's credit. Man, we just want our share. And asking or demanding or protesting for our share doesn't make us anything else but a human. And here's the thing. If a country or an empire or a sovereign nation has to pass a bill in order to grant these things to the people of that country that have smaller numbers, that's a problem. That's a problem. So the fact that when the United States after the Civil War and in the Constitution is written that Negroes are only 3/5 of a human? Why don't y'all amend that shit, man? And I'm sorry, I'm gonna be cussing a little bit, and that ain't like me. But why don't y'all amend that shit? Because, I mean, why? Why won't y'all amend that shit? That needs to be taken out. Because to me, what that sounds like, I'm not saying it's gonna happen today, tomorrow, or even maybe in my lifetime. But that clause in the Constitution allows that to be reinforced, if you will, at a later point. I don't think it'll ever happen, but that option remains there. And as opposed to having that option there and then dealing and living through the fallout of what happens in case it tries to be enforced, why not change it now? Why not change it now? Tell the truth. Shame the devil. Tell the truth. Tell the truth that that black people were brought against their will to this country to build it up in the way that you see it now. Tell the truth that slave owners would engage in sexual activity with the women slaves and make babies, interracial babies. But now there's a mandate that you want to ban interracial marriages. Explain. Y'all started it. They started it. I don't understand. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. And why is it that people, and let me just say this too. I don't believe that all Trump supporters are racist. I don't. And you may say, Willie, you're a fool, but that's the compassionate human nature in me that would like to believe that all Trump supporters are not racist. I don't think they are. Now, I can tell you that I do believe that there are more racist Trump supporters than there were Biden or Obama or even Clinton supporters. I do believe that. But if you're not a racist and you supported Trump, well, we have conversations like this. You should jump in. One of somebody I went to high school with earlier today, I said, I don't know if we can be friends anymore. And they said, they based, and I outlined, I gave an entire list of things of why I said we can't be friends anymore. Because of A, B, C, D, and E. And they're all valid facts. They're all things that have occurred. So you can't put a word on it like theory. You can't do that. And they said to me, I said, I don't see how we can be friends. If we were true friends, instead of you saying to me, oh, Willie, I don't understand that point of view. Let's talk about it. Or, I want to empathize with you and help bring this problem to a solution. Instead of saying that, they basically told me, oh, it's heartbreaking. Just remember, it's your choice. No, you kind of don't give people a choice when that is your stance. It's okay to be in a stance, but to be immovable, unequivocally immovable in your stance. That means that you don't really care about what somebody like me has to say, of which you claim to be a friend of. It's not that hard. I'm not trying to take anything from you. I'm trying to give you something. My heart. And it's just a shame, because these are the types of things that break up families and friends vanish. I love you, but I don't like you right now. And that's just what it is. Moving right along. So people are kind of a bit in an uproar over Snoop Dogg, Nelly, Soulja Boy, and Rick Ross. Nelly and Soulja Boy, I'm not going too much to talk about. I'm going to talk about Rick Ross in just a bit. And of course, they all performed at Donald Trump's inauguration celebration on yesterday, which is fine. I mean, if that's what you do, that's what you do. But just know that the freedom of choice comes with backlash and consequences and statements that may not be appealing to you as the individual that went and did said event. Rick Ross, whose real name, I don't even know what it is. he fashions himself after a gangster and a drug dealer and all of these things. Well, bruh, you are a correction officer. Let's just keep it what it is. You are correct. You were a correction officer. Ain't never committed a crime in your life. Not one. Soulja Boy, bro, you had 3 good hits. 3. You are known more for your antics because you are a horrible rapper. An MC, that is not what you are. Now, those 2 hits, 3 hits, they were nice dance tunes. And they had some good catchphrases in them. Nelly, well, Nelly has had financial issues over the years, and I don't know what his state is right now. He said that it didn't matter that it was Donald Trump. It was the presidency of the office of the presidency that he was performing in front of, citing that Kamala Harris didn't invite him, Joe Biden didn't invite him, or Barack Obama didn't invite him. Okay. That's fine. I mean, how many times have black people been shut out from using the same restroom and going to eat at the same restaurants as black people? But we still made our way in, right? But the Snoop Dogg, I got some footage or some sound rather, straight from the dog's mouth, and I am going to play them right now. Here's the first. Actually, I got 3 clips. 2 from Snoop, 1 from Lindsey Graham, talking about Donald Trump. Here's Snoop.
Which one of you gonna be the first one to do it? I'm waiting. I'm gonna roast the out of one of you, Uncle Tom, for doing it. Which one of you gonna do it first? I suppose the one that performs for himself.
Snoop, back in 2017, had this to say about President Trump.
So ain't nobody gonna perform for Donald Trump, huh? Which one of you gonna be the first one to do it? I'm waiting. I'm gonna roast the out of one of you, Uncle Tom, for doing it. Which one of you gonna do it first? I suppose the one that performs for himself.
And then in another profanity laden comment from Snoop, he said this.
Now we all hear. I apologize. Nah, I really don't apologize, man, because a lot of my fans get mad at me when I talk bad about him. But I don't. I think it's safe to say most people in our culture do not.
Well, you need to know that. You need to know that a lot of your fans is racist. Ain't no fucking way around. Don't even try to put no.
I don't even want to put anything around.
I do. I don't give a fuck. I tell him straight up, motherfucker. If you like that nigga, you motherfucking racist. Fuck you and fuck him. Now what?
All right.
Draw the line, nigga. He drew the lines.
Exactly.
He drew the motherfucking lines. Before him, there were no lines. Everybody was everybody. We respected everything. We didn't trip. But nigga, when you drew the line, nigga, start pointing motherfuckers out and saying, nigga, fuck y'all then, nigga.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
You and them.
If you're just tuning in, we're
Kanye
talking about
too,
Donald Trump.
nigga. Don't forget about him too. Fuck you too.
So you heard two sound bites from the man himself. I got a question, Calvin. Calvin brought us. From then until now, what has changed? What has changed? What about Donald Trump has changed to make you go from saying what you just said to performing at his inauguration? Is it about the money? Is it because you need something from him? Is it because, I don't know, you've done something that might come out and you may need I don't know. Why? What has changed from then till now? Donald Trump is still the same. What changed? I think if anybody is able to interview Snoop or Calvin, he's Calvin to me now. That ain't the same Snoop Dogg that I grew up listening to. That ain't the same Snoop Dogg that I rode around campus bumping. What changed? I want to know what changed. And anybody out there that's watching and or listening, will be listening. If you have an opportunity to interview Snoop Dogg, Calvin, please ask him what changed. What changed? And then I saw another clip, and I don't have it, but and I'll be paraphrasing this. But apparently Snoop talked to Stephen A. Smith and was told by Snoop that he wasn't doing it for the money. Well, if you weren't doing it for the money, then rob the rich and give to the poor. Don't rob the rich and give to the rich, which is yourself. How about that? And he pardoned, I think he said his name was Mike Harris, something like that. He pardoned him, which is somebody close to Snoop's inner circle, Calvin's inner circle. Okay. Well, just know that we know Snoop. We know Calvin. We know now. You can't be trusted, homie. You are a former Crip, was arrested multiple times, was found not guilty for a crime that you really did commit. I think it all started back then. And I'm not going to really get into the conspiracy theories on that. Those are just some of my opinions. But Snoop, Calvin, what changed, bro? What changed, homie? Think about it. If you was on the street with your in your set and you instantly became one of the Pyrus, what changed? See, I think that for some of us, when we get into a position of authority and or quote unquote power, that we now have to disassociate ourselves from where we came from. Snoop, if you said that it's really not about the money, how come we haven't heard about you? And I'm just saying what I haven't heard. I'm not saying you haven't done it. I'm telling you what I haven't heard. How come we have not heard Snoop Dogg donating resources to the people of the very state that you come from, the city that you come from? And if you have, my bad. But if you haven't, shame on you. Give that money to them if it's not about the money. Rick Ross, dude, you've been a fake all your rapping career. They call me Big Meech, Larry Hoover, whipping work. Bruh, that's not you. You were a correctional officer, a security guard. Do correctional officers in Florida, are they able to wear guns? Are they? Do they have to pass background checks? I don't know. But it makes you think, or it makes me think anyway. So here's another question. Soulja Boy, what have you done for the folks in Atlanta when a crisis has arisen? What did you do? Haven't heard anything. See, let me tell y'all, for my brothers and sisters that are a lighter shade of color than I am, let me educate y'all on something real quick. And this is going to sound harsh, but it's the actual factuals. There are certain members of the community of folks that look like me that will sell out folks that look like me. Let that sit for a second. There are folks that come from a community of people that look like me that will sell out people that look just like me. And that's sad. And you know what? That's where things like Uncle Tom came from, Jigaboo, tap dance, and all this stuff. And off topic just a little bit. I saw something on TV last week, and it was a cartoon, and it was one of my favorite cartoons of all time, Tom and Jerry. I watched it. My boys watch it. You know, it's a generational thing. But I saw an episode in which Tom did something to Jerry, and it made Jerry's face turn black. And then Tom took a lighter and lit the bottom of a plate, and Jerry started tap dancing. See, the innocence of children is oblivious to hate and division and greed. Well, maybe not greed, but jealousy. We as kids, we're oblivious to that. And I saw that and it disturbed me. I'm like, oh my gosh. I would have rather not seen that, because now guess what it does? It changes my entire outlook about my favorite cartoon ever, Tom and Jerry. And it may not mean anything to you. It may seem insignificant to you, and that's fine. But it was the revelation that got me. This is exactly what it is. Some black folks tapping around for the oppressor. And Tom was one of the king oppressors. Or at least he tried to be. And who knows? Maybe that was the hidden meaning behind all of that. Maybe Jerry was black. I don't know. Who knows? But the thing is that revelation, it troubled me a great deal. So to say that Snoop and or Nelly and or Soulja Boy and or Rick Ross did this, I can't say that it's surprising. I can't say that I'm shocked, simply because we were the people that were stacked on top of one another in boats coming from a foreign land. And just like then, there were people that would say and do certain things to get out of that situation. Modern day. It's modern day. All right, I got one more clip that I'm going to play. It's from Lindsey Graham. I can't remember when this one took place, but I'm going to go ahead and play it now.
When he gets those kinds of crowds, you have to take him seriously, don't you?
Well, I'm very worried about where we're headed as a party. I don't think this is the way to get the Latino vote. At the end of the day, this is a defining moment for the Republican Party. There's a lot of frustration with broken borders. I get that. I've been trying to fix the border for 10 years. I would double the Border Patrol, triple the number of drones. All the hijackers who attacked us on 9/11 were visa overstays. So it's more than just the border. You got to control your visa program. But as to Donald Trump, he has said openly, repeatedly, that he believes that most illegal immigrants are drug dealers and rapists, and there may be a few among them that are decent people. After 10 years of working on illegal immigration, I've come to conclude that most illegal immigrants are decent, hardworking people, and some are criminals. This is a defining moment for the Republican Party. We need to reject this. To all the candidates who think that Donald Trump is telling the truth, I think you've lost your way.
What changed, Lindsey? What changed? What has changed since you made those comments about your party? And I've even tried to explain to people that are registered Republicans, this is not your mom and dad's Republican Party anymore. It's not. And they claim to be conservative or ultra conservative. Well, mass deportation is a liberal act. Shutting down a system that has been in place since the beginning of time is a liberal act. That's not conservative. And then there was another clip that I tried to find in which there was Lindsey Graham's voice and Nikki Haley and a whole bunch of other folks talking about Donald Trump as a racist, as a xenophobe, as a bigot, as all these things. But here we are today. And my question to you guys is this: what has changed? What has changed? When you talk about what Lindsey said about the border and the people crossing the border, what has changed? Because just because there are enough, or there have been some acts of violence by people that are here illegally, so that makes everybody here illegally and everybody that dangerous. Do you see how prejudiced that is? Oh, but people that attacked the Capitol just 4 years ago, beating police officers with flagpoles and cow fences and pepper spray, oh, they're not dangerous. They're hostages. They were treated unfairly. What changed? How is one thing a law or a breaking of the law, and another thing not. Explain. And he pardoned almost all of them in his first day of office. It's that, and that's the part that saddens me. Not because if I was a criminal, I'd be like, yo, I'm gonna snuggle up to Donald Trump, man, because he might pardon me. But then there's people like me that abide by the law and are wondering, dang, if they can get away with that, they can get away with anything. Now what? And here comes the police immunity, complete immunity while they're at work. Officer, I was only doing 5 miles over the speed limit. Me to the officer. Officer to me. I don't care, boy. You're speeding. Me to the officer. I understand that, sir. Do you have to call me out of my name? Officer to me. Get out and put your hands on the top of your head. Me. Why? What did I do wrong? That type stuff. And then next thing you know, I'm getting a flower on my a flag on my casket. And nothing happened. And my wife and my kids can get nothing from the perpetrators. That's where we're headed. That is where we're headed. And for all y'all out there that are applauding that policy, you might want to be careful with that, dog. You might want to be careful with that. Might want to be careful with that. That's all I got to say, man. Comments welcomed all time. Facebook at Shakeback Media Group, Instagram at Shakeback Media Group, Twitter SHKBK MEDIAGRP. I welcome your comments. Only thing I ask is that you keep it respectful and keep it cool. And one of these days, it's going to be all right. I promise it's going to be all right one of these days. So with that being said, I'm going to conclude this particular special episode of whatever. Station, the blast cause hazardous gas and mass radiation. The public panic due to lack of information that made a killer situation, feeling in the civilization. Still you sit in the basement, states a scientific nation to fail. Blind communities that read in the braille. Politicians with the skin and scales and tails. Sending soldiers and ship and sailors, suckers city divers and trails. Now below, there's no people for several miles. Desert towns around. Holding a needle, read the numbers on the needle, measure the source signal.